Shalom, Israel. Shalom, shalom. All right, it's Brother Thawam coming at you with these precepts and another cold cut. First and foremost, giving all honor and all glory unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Most High God, and Yahweh Shai being the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Right. So, I got limited time, but on this, on this cold cut, we going into who are the saints. Right. What is a saint, and who are the saints? Right. Now, when we read like the epistles of Paul, right? Let's go straight to it. When you go to Romans chapter 7, I mean, Romans chapter 1 and verse 7, Salaki. When you read Romans 1 and 7, it says, to all that be in Rome, beloved of the Most High, called to be saints, grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. And when you ask, a lot of times when you ask a Christian or, a person that doesn't know any better who the saints are, they'll tell you that's, someone that believes, a believer, right? Someone who follows Christ, or, they give these vague answers, right? But that's why we have to go precept upon precept to make it make sense through the Spirit. Right now, you know, due to the lack of a whole lot of technology, I had to write down these the Greek words, right? So in Greek, the word for saint that's being used, right, in Romans 1 and 7, that word is G40, right? G40, and it's hagios, right? G40 is hagios, and it means holy thing, right? Most holy thing, or a saint. So in the New Testament alone, G40 shows up as holy, right? As the word holy by itself, 161 times. It shows up as saints 61 times. And it shows up as the Holy One, right? 4 times. I'm gonna get two examples of Holy One, right? We're gonna go to Luke chapter 4 and verse 34, right? So like it for the background, right? This is the book of Luke chapter 4 and verse number 34. It says, saying, let us alone. What have we to do with thee, thou Yahushai of Nazareth? Right? Speaking on that unclean spirit, right? The legions that came down, right? Coming to Yahushai at his feet. He says, art thou come to destroy us? I know thee who thou art, the Holy One of God. You see that? So that word is G40, right? That's the same word that's used in Romans 1 and 7. So this word saint, right? Or hagios, right, is going into the saints, being a holy one, being holy, right? A person, more or less that's holy, but even things that are holy. So, right, I'm not going to go too ahead of myself, right? I'm gonna get this in First John chapter 2 and verse 20, but I'm bringing these out to show you that the Holy One, right, the Holy One is Yahweh Shai, right? First John chapter 2 and verse number 20, he says, but ye have an unction from the Holy One, and ye know all things, right? So I'm gonna start at 19. He says, they went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us. But ye have an unction from the Holy One, and ye know all things. So, you have that unction, right? You have that pulling in your spirit, right? And you get that from the Holy One. From who? From Yahweh Shah, right? Having that Holy Spirit sent down to you. So the Holy One and saints, these words are interchangeable when you're reading it in the Greek. But the Holy One, right? The most holy one is Yahweh Shah himself, right? But now, who are the saints? When you go to, we read Romans 1 and 7, and when you go through Paul's epistles, right, First Corinthians 1 and 2, um, Second Corinthians, what's that, 1 and 1, Ephesians 1 and 1, and Philippians 1 and 1, right? It all goes back. All of these epistles are written to the saints. And like I said, in the New Testament, the word saint shows up 61 times, right? But I'm gonna bring out this in Revelation chapter 8 and verse number 3. Revelation chapter 8 and verse 3, it says, And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. Right? So the saints, the saints is an important people, right? It's an important thing to be a saint. It's a weighty matter right there, because the saints' prayers are brought up before the Most High, right? In the temple in the third heaven, right? It's brought up before the throne of the Lord. So who are these saints? So now when we go into the Old Testament, right? When we go into the Old Testament, the word saint has two Hebrew words. It's two Hebrew words associated with saints in the Old Testament. So when you're reading the word saint in the Old Testament, it could be two different words. The first one we're gonna go into is Kodash, right? That's H6918, right? Kodash, and it says it's holy, right? Sacred, holy one. You see that? Holy one, saint, set apart. And brothers bring that out all the time. The word Quadash, the word holy goes back to the Hebrew word, which is Quadash. So the word Quadash meaning holy, holy and saint, these words are interchangeable in the Hebrew at times. So you got to know the context, you got to know what it's speaking on, right? But this is the word that's being used when we go to precepts like, let me go to Leviticus, right? Leviticus, Salakia, Leviticus chapter 20 and verse number 6. It says, "And the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits," Salakia, that's not what I want. Leviticus 20 and 26, Salakia. Leviticus 20 and 26, "And ye shall be holy unto me." You see that? Now, if the Lord is talking to the Israelites, and the word that he's using is holy, right? Quadash in the Hebrew, H6918, right? "Ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine." So the Most High is telling the Israelites to be separate, right? The Most High is telling the Israelites to be holy unto Him, to be separate unto Him, to be what? To be sacred, set apart, right? So this is speaking on the Israelites. This is not speaking on everybody who believes or just anybody who believes. And once again, this is why you have to go precept upon precept, right? So that was Leviticus 20 and 26. I'm gonna get this in right, Numbers 15, right? When we speak about the fringes, Numbers 15, and I'm gonna start at 39, right? He says, "And it shall be unto you for a fringe," right? Talking about the fringes, "that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord." Now, remember, when you start at verse 37, it says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying," in verse 38, "Speak unto the children of Israel." So when we go back to verse 39 and pick up where we left off, he says, "And remember all the commandments of the Lord and do them, that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a whoring, that ye may remember and do all my commandments and be holy." H6918, Quadash, "and be holy unto your God." He says, and then he goes on to say, "I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Yahweh, your God." So we got to understand that, just continue to drive this point home, that the Israelites are the saints. The Israelites are the people that are holy, that are set apart from the Most High, right? This wasn't given unto all nations. This is not a everybody thing, right? So even when you go to Exodus, right? Exodus chapter 19 and verse number 6, he says, "And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and holy nation." Right? This is the whole nation. The Israelites are a holy people. Quadash in the Hebrew. This word Quadash in the Hebrew, H6918, goes back to the saints. "These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel." So these are the Israelites. These people, these Israelites, this nation of people is holy to the Most High God. And somebody would have to go into the scriptures and show me where another nation is holy unto the Most High, right? Where another nation is holy and sacred, right? Considered saints to the Most High. It's not in there. You're not going to find it. It's not in the Old Testament. It's not in the New Testament. It's not in the Apocrypha, right? So the saints are the Israelites. The saints are the ones that are holy, right? And even in the New Testament, I'm gonna bring this out real quick. And what I want, First Peter chapter 2 and verse number 9. He says, "But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation." Right? And that word holy, that's not the same word being used. But he's letting the Israelites know, right? That's who he's talking about. A holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Right? This is the Israelites being grafted in. Right? So once again, because you can't say that everybody's grafted in, right? And that's a whole nother breakdown. But when you read Romans 11 and he speaks about the grafting in, make sure you link that up with Jeremiah 11 and 16, speaking on how the Israelites, right, the nation of Israel is that green olive tree where the branches have been broken off and burnt. So the adoption being grafted in, this all pertains unto the Israelites. So all of these epistles that are written in the New Testament are written to the saints, but we're going through the precepts, we're going through the language, right? Going through the concordance to understand what a saint is and who the saints are, right? And I also want to get this in so they even in the New Testament, First Peter 2 and 9, speaking on the Israelites. But then I also want to bring this up because the concept of the saints or the concept of holy ones, right? This was before, Israel was a nation, because before Israel was a nation, the Lord had the sons of God, right? The sons of God, Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, they will be considered sons of God, right? From the lineage from Noah to Shem, all the way down to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's your lineage of the sons of God, right? So when we read the book of Job, Job chapter 5 and verse 1, he says, "Call now, if there be any that will answer thee, and to which of the saints wilt thou turn?" Right? Which of the saints, which one of the holy ones, right? Which person that's holy, right? That's set apart to the Most High, are you going to turn to, right? To give counsel, to get counsel from, right? Which of the saints wilt thou turn? So this word saint, because we got to understand also that even scholars tell you that the book of Job, if the Bible was in chronological order, the book of Job would be in the midst of the book of Genesis, because Job was written during the time of, like I was going into, the sons of God, right? So the sons of God, those people, they are holy. You're not going to say that Shem isn't a holy man, right? Or Adam wasn't a holy man, right? Or Seth, right? Enoch. These men were before Israel was established as a nation, but these men are of the sons of God. And guess what? These men are still saints in the eyes of the Most High because they're holy. They're men that were doing the work of the Lord, right? And so then, and I'll get this in Deuteronomy 33 and 3. Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse number 3, he says, "Yea, he loved the people. All his saints are in thy hand, and they sat down at thy feet. Every one shall receive of thy words." Right? So now this is the Lord talking to Salaki. This is the Lord talking to the right, talking to the Israelites, right? And these are his saints. But now this is the word saint right here is Kodash, right? 69:18. But when you jump down to Deuteronomy 33 and 8, watch this. He says, "And of Levi, he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One," right? Be with thy Holy One. Now, this word Holy One, right? This is another word that's also used as saint in the Old Testament. This is H2623, right? H2623, and this word is Salakia for the pronunciation, kasayad, right? Kasayad, and it says it means faithful, right? Kind, godly, holy one, right? Saint or pious, right? So now this word is the word that's being used in Deuteronomy 33 and 8, and this is speaking about the priest, right, and the chief priest, right? Let the Thummim and the Urim be with thy holy one, whom thou didst prove at Massa, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah. So now we got the holy one, right? We got this word uh kasayad, right? 2623, H2623, and we're gonna go into some precepts on that. This is the word that's used right here that brothers bring out often when we go to prove who the saints are, right? Psalms 50 and 5. He says, gather my saints together, right? This is H2623. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. You see that? So this is the saints that, this is the word saint that brothers like to use to prove that we are the saints, right? In the New Testament. Salakia. Con. And also in Psalms 148 and 14, I'll get that real quick too. Psalms 148 and 14, it says, he also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, right? The praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him, praise ye Yahweh. You see that? So that word, right, going into faithful, kind, godly, holy one, right? Being a saint, being pious. These are the words that are describing the saints, right, in the Old Testament, right? But this is H2623. So this is more specifically talking about, a person, for lack of better terms, right? This is talking about a specific person, in lack of better terms. But as you see in with Quadash, with H6918, that could be talking about, anything being holy, right? The things that were in the temple, right? That's holy. The altar is holy, right? The brazen lever, that's holy, right? The showbread, that's holy. But then you also have people that are holy, that are quadash, that are set apart. And that word, when it's talking about people, can also be used as saints, right? But the Israelites told us, but the Lord told us that the Israelites are the holy people, the set apart people, time and time again, right? When you read Deuteronomy 7 and 6, that's the word holy being used, right? Deuteronomy 14 and 2, right? And that's talking about the people. But now when we read Psalms 50 and 5 and Psalms 148 and 14, we're understanding that's specifically talking about a people. Even Psalms, let me get this, Psalms 149 and 9. I'm gonna start at 7. I'm gonna start at 5. I like this. I like this chapter. Right? Psalms 149 and 5. He says, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Right? The saints. Right? Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of irons, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. You see that? In this word, saint being used is going back to that H2623. And once again, even when you're reading the Strong's definition for it, it says faithful, kind, godly, holy one. But yet, this is an honor of the saints to execute judgments upon the heathen. So, we got to understand that these contexts and these words, they really matter, right? And you can't just generalize the definition of a word without going through the precepts, without going through the scholarship of breaking down what these words mean, right? A saint isn't just anybody who believes. because regardless of it, even going through the precepts, the saints are going to believe. It's kind of a default of who the saints are. They're going to believe, but it gets more specific as you go through the precepts. It gets more specific as you go through the definition, the etymology, the concordance. It gets more specific when you take that deep dive into who the saints are, right? So, Khan, let me get two more, and I'm gonna close up through the spirit. So now, when we read precepts like uh, First Peter, right? First Peter 1, and I'm gonna start at 1. He says, Peter, an apostle of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, through the sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, grace unto you and peace be multiplied. And he said, elect according to the foreknowledge. These are saints. These are the people that have been set apart from the foundation. And when he say elect according to the foreknowledge, right, the foreknowledge, that goes back to the book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 4. He says, for Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name and have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. So, this in the New Testament, when you read the word saint, you got to understand that it's really talking about the Israelites. Only the Israelites are people that have been called holy unto the Most High God. Only the Israelites are the people that are set apart. Only the Israelites are the people that are consecrated, right? And the Israelites are the only people that can truly be faithful to the Most High God. The Israelites are the only people that can truly be godly. The Israelites are the only people that can truly be considered saints, right? And I'm gonna get this last one through the Spirit, Ephesians 2:11, and I'm gonna link that up, right? This is Ephesians chapter 2 and verse number 11. It says, wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands. This is speaking about the Israelites, right? But to the unlearned man, right, they would think that that's talking about just any Gentile or all Gentiles or all nations. But this is speaking about the Israelites, right? Specifically the northern kingdom that are scattered abroad, right? That are not keeping the laws and the commandments, while the Jews, right, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, were the three tribes that the Most High kept unto Himself, right? Judah, Benjamin, and Levi were the ones that were still keeping the commandments. They were still trying to be holy, but they were trying to be holy through the law and through the works of the law until Yahweh Shai came on the scene. A lot of them converted, but a lot of them didn't, right? But either way, the uncircumcision is talking about the Israelites, right, that haven't received Yahweh Shai, and they were a part of those the northern kingdom tribes. He says that at that time ye were without Hamashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without the Most High in the world. Right. So these are the Israelites, right? And I'll go through that real quick through the Spirit. You read Hosea chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse 6, right? It says, and she conceived again and bare a daughter. And God said unto him, call her name Lo Salakia, Lo Ruhama, for I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them away. You see that? So the Most High's taken away the Israelites, right? The northern kingdom tribes, right? He says, but I will have mercy upon the house of Judah. So that's that separation, right? When you jump down to verse 9, he says, then God said, call his name Lo Ami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God. Then he goes on to say, verse 10, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. So the Most High separated us, right? He had the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom separate, but then he brought them back together. And this is where I'm gonna close up with. And Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse number 21, it says, and say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. And that's what we're waiting for, right? The saints are waiting for Yahweh Shah to come and bring us salvation, right? And bring us back to the land of Israel and set this earth back in order, right? Under Yahweh Shah and 144,000, right? And one king shall be king to them all. And this the part right here, and they shall be no more two nations. You see that? So when you're reading about the saints and you're reading about these Gentiles being grafted in, the word Gentile just means nation. And the Lord is saying right here, even in the Old Testament, that the northern kingdom tribes is a different nation from the southern kingdom tribes. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. So, Lord willing, as we wait on Yahweh Shah to return, right, we continue to repent, keep the commandments of the Most High, and Lord willing, this was edifying. But with that, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Barakathum. Shalom.